Leonardo AI recently revamped its entire image generation interface. The previous version posed a significant challenge for many users, myself included, as it felt overwhelming at first glance. There were so many features, and it was hard to know where to begin. It was just too much. If you're new to Leonardo AI and you're searching for a tutorial on YouTube about how to use the image generation section, which is a widely used feature, be aware that any tutorial created before May 24, 2024 is now outdated because everything has changed. For those who have been using Leonardo AI for some time and have grown accustomed to the old interface, it's now entirely different, completely transformed. So, let's dive into the new layout of the Leonardo AI image generation page. Here's what it looks like now. First of all, create a new account. The link is in the description of this video, or log in to your existing account. If you've previously used Leonardo AI's image generation, or if you've seen screenshots or tutorials, you'll likely notice how much cleaner the interface looks now. There's significantly less clutter, which makes it far more user-friendly, especially for beginners. This update makes it much more accessible compared to the older version. Let's begin with the prompt box, which is essentially the core of any AI or image generation tool. It's still positioned at the top and center, just as it always has been. However, many of the options that used to be right beneath the prompt box have disappeared. They've been streamlined and relocated. One of these new locations is just to the left of the prompt box, where you'll find an icon that resembles an add image symbol with a plus sign over an image. Clicking this icon reveals the new home for image guidance, including options like style reference, character reference, and content reference. Style reference allows you to create images that appear as though they were made by the same artist on the same day, capturing a consistent mood. Character reference, a brand new feature introduced with this interface update, lets you create consistent characters by uploading an image or selecting one from your past generations or the community. This tells the AI, I want all subsequent images to resemble this character. Content reference works almost as the opposite of style reference. It retains the original shapes and structure, but the style can vary completely, as illustrated in the example. If you're searching for additional image guidance options, these can be found under the View More button, which expands to reveal features like image to image, designed to replicate the color palette and overall aesthetic of an existing image. We've discussed the concept of using depth in an image, where the aim is to replicate the depth from the original image you provide. This allows you to position someone in any pose, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the same person. It could be an actor, a dancer, or any figure of your choice. In this example, we have a person standing with their hands in their pockets and legs crossed. When you recreate this, it will generate a person in the exact same pose, but it's not restricted to duplicating the entire person. The focus is on replicating the pose, while everything else can be altered. You can input a text image, which starts as simple black and white text, and transform it into various creative designs, all while preserving the original text. The edge-to-image feature adheres to the outlines but allows for changes to the background and overall style. We've already discussed character and style references. The small icon to the left of your prompt box isn't just for image guidance. It's also where you'll find elements, which encompass a wide range of features. It's not just a place to add elements like placing fire behind a figure or transforming the scene into a dark CGI-like visual. It's also where you can specify that you want your image to resemble a coloring book page, offering a variety of top elements to choose from. When you click the View More button, you'll uncover a lot more options, and it's likely that the number of elements will continue to grow over time. New elements are added quite regularly, and you can easily search through them. There's also a checkbox labeled Show Compatible Only, which filters elements to match the model you've chosen to generate. We haven't covered model selection yet, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, it's advisable to keep this box checked. If you're not seeing the elements you want, take a moment to review the model you're using, and we'll do that shortly. You can choose multiple elements for your generation, and they'll appear right here in these small circles. For example, if we select CGI Noir and Cybertech, both will be added to our generation. The combinations are virtually limitless, with the vast array of elements available. These elements not only provide a consistent enhancement, style, or feature, but also save you from the hassle of figuring out how to input them in your prompt to achieve your desired outcome. You can craft your prompt as usual, and simply add one of these elements. For instance, if you want your suit blazer to have dragon scales, there's no need to figure out the exact phrasing. You can just add this element. Similarly, if you want a 3D sculpture, it's as easy as that. Let's step back for a moment. Now on the right side, which was previously on the left, is the Magic AI button. Clicking on it gives us two options: generating a new random prompt or improving an existing one. At the moment, the Improve Prompt option is disabled since there's nothing entered in the prompt box. If I choose the new random prompt, it will automatically generate one for me, and it's entirely random. Although I say random, Leonardo's prompts tend to revolve around CGI, bizarre worlds and themes that would likely resonate with gamers. While the results it generates aren't exactly my style, they're certainly intriguing. Once the prompt is in, we can simply click Generate without making any other changes, and we'll see some results based on that input. The generated images will appear below. The interface is now a bit more streamlined. Gone are the different tabs, like the Image Generation History tab and the Image Guidance tab. Instead of having the model located directly under the prompt box, it's now moved to the left menu. The top left is now labeled as Preset, which isn't just the model itself, but a combination of the model and specific settings designed to achieve a particular type of output. Before, when you clicked on the model dropdown, you were met with a long list of models, and their names weren't exactly user-friendly. However, with presets, it's much easier to understand what you're aiming for. The first option is Anime, and hovering over it gives a brief description. Similarly, hovering over Cinematic Kino reveals that it combines the Kino XL model with photorealistic elements to create a cinematic effect. This approach makes much more sense. I wish it had been like this from the start. Other options include Concept Art, Graphic Design, Illustrative, Alto, Leonardo Lightning, a fast all-around model, Lifelike Vision for hyper-realistic, highly detailed outputs using the Leonardo Vision model, Portrait Perfect, and lastly, as of today, Stock Photography. They've also mentioned that more presets will be added, and in the future, users will even be able to create and add their own presets. I'll go ahead and close this and keep it on Leonardo Lightning, which is a solid all-around fairly fast generation model. Next, we need to select a style. The dynamic option is a versatile style that attempts to interpret your prompt and adjust accordingly. However, if you have a specific style in mind, like a 3D render, a black and white sketch, or any other specific look, you can choose that directly. Cinematic is a popular choice, as is Portrait, which you'll find here, and Stock Photo, which is often useful for content creators. A new feature added is Contrast Control, where you can set the contrast to low, medium, or high. Nothing too complicated, just how much contrast you prefer in your image. The Image Generation mode is also new and simplifies things. You can choose between fast and quality. Do you want speed, or do you want the best result? Behind the quality option is what was previously known as Alchemy V2. So if you've seen Alchemy on the left before and weren't sure what it was, now you know. Selecting quality uses Alchemy V2, while selecting fast bypasses it. Image dimensions refer to the aspect ratio you want for your output. It's currently set to 1:1, so the images generated are square. Common ratios include 4:3 and 16:9. By clicking More, you'll not only access additional aspect ratio options, but you'll also find guidance for sizes needed for platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and other common device sizes, as well as film aspect ratios. You can also select the resolution, low, medium, or high, right here, keeping it simple. Additionally, there's a slider at the top that allows you to scroll through different options, providing a preview of what each will look like. This is super helpful if you're not familiar with all the various image dimensions, their appearance, and their specific uses. Now let's close that. The number of images is straightforward. This determines how many images you want to generate when you click the Generate button. Naturally, this affects the number of tokens used. Typically, generating 4 images is standard. With Leonardo Lightning as our preset and fast, selected instead of quality, it will cost 10 tokens to generate 4 images. If you switch to generating 2 images, the cost reduces to 5 tokens. If you're mindful of token usage and are trying out some experimental features that you're unsure of how they work or what the outcome will be, this might be a good opportunity to limit your request to just 2 of these tokens, since you really don't know how it might turn out. Additionally, quality, which was previously known as Alchemy V2, significantly raises your token usage. For instance, If you switch from fast, which uses 10 tokens for 4 images, to quality, you'll now be using 24 tokens for those same 4 images. I'm going to revert to fast mode for now. Next up is private mode. When private mode is enabled, our images won't show up in the community feed for others to view. However, if we disable this setting, the images we create might appear in the community feed and could be used by others. For those who have been using Leonardo AI for some time or are getting familiar with the layout and are curious about where certain features are located, take a look at the advanced settings found at the bottom of the left menu. Here, you can choose the model directly rather than a preset. For instance, the preset Leonardo Lightning uses the Leonardo Lightning XL model. However, if we expand this list, we'll find additional models to choose from. You'll notice that some models are missing, particularly your custom models. If you've trained a model using your own images, it won't appear here, but don't worry, it's still accessible. I appreciate that this interface isn't overloaded with models that are rarely used by most people. Often, these extra options just take up space and aren't necessary for 99% of users. It seems Leonardo's goal with this redesign of the image generation interface was to prioritize the tools that are used 99% of the time, making them easily accessible, while pushing the less frequently used 1% of custom settings to a less prominent position. You can still enable photo reel mode from the advanced settings. However, if you've selected a preset like Cinematic Kino, Photo Reel is already included, so there's no need to activate it separately. The negative prompt option is located down here, which feels a bit odd since it's not placed next to the main prompt. I'm not entirely thrilled about that, but still, if you enable the negative prompt, it will show up in the same box as your main prompt. This is where you input the elements you don't want to appear in your image. This feature is especially useful when, for example, you're generating an image of a person and it keeps adding a bow tie for no reason. By typing bow tie in the negative prompt, you're telling the system that you don't want to see a bow tie in any of your generated images. While it might not be perfect, it does help minimize unwanted elements. Many users also utilize this feature to exclude issues like extra fingers, disfigurements, and similar flaws in an effort to produce better human images. Some Leonardo models actually don't require a negative prompt, and I suspect they're aiming to reduce the need for negative prompts altogether, especially for obvious issues like disfigurements, missing limbs, or extra fingers. As a result, negative prompts might become less relevant in the future, which could explain why they've been moved down to the advanced settings. Transparency is an advanced setting you can enable, allowing you to create images without a background. For instance, if you want to generate an image of a car without placing it on a street, in a driveway, or any other setting, you can isolate just the car, making it easy to insert into a custom environment or backdrop of your choice. Tiling is another advanced setting, perfect for creating images that can be seamlessly tiled. Whether you're designing a texture, background, or wallpaper, tiling ensures that the edges match up perfectly, allowing for a continuous repeating pattern. Additionally, the advanced settings include the fixed seed option. By enabling this, you can input a specific seed number into the fixed seed box. While this goes beyond today's focus, if you're familiar with fixed seeds and were searching for that option, it's located right here. However, you might notice some things are missing. For example, where are your trained models? If you've trained custom models and can't find them, don't worry, they're not gone. You can access them by switching to Legacy mode. Just click the button in the top right corner, and you'll return to the previous version of Leonardo AI's image generation interface, with everything set up exactly as it was before May 4th. With this, we can access the model dropdown just as we normally would. You'll see a large list of models when you select Other Model, giving you access to all the platform's models. There are so many choices, it can quickly become overwhelming. You also have the community models, so many options to choose from. While it's great to have options, it can be a bit much at times. And then there's also your own custom models. Remember to hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel to get notified when I upload the latest videos.